All right, DD India's Amit Mukherjee joins us on the broadcast for more. Hi, Amit. Walk us through the significance of Steve Witkoff's visit to Moscow first, and what does this meeting with President Putin signal at this stage of the conflict?
Well, Abhishek, President Donald Trump undoubtedly has sent across a very unconventional team to Moscow to meet President Putin, of course, because apart from Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, and Marco Rubio, of course, I mean, he's believed to have sent his former business partner along with his son-in-law. Now, this is a very unconventional team. But this team has got a good strike record because even in the past, this team was very, it was actually instrumental in kind of bringing about, the closure of the Gaza peace deal. So a lot of eyes right now in Moscow right now on this particular team. Of course, they will be meeting President Putin, which you rightly pointed out. The US team has already met the Ukrainian team in Florida over a 2-day long, meeting. And, the initial peace, 28-point peace plan, which was actually proposed by the US, has also undergone some sort of a change, following this meeting with the Ukrainian delegation. Now, what needs to be seen is whether these are all the changes which have been affected in the current peace deal are acceptable to the Russian administration. Now, Putin will, of course, be meeting this team. And we'll have to see how things work out, because initially President Putin had made it very clear that whatever territories that Russia has now under its control will be taken, and also the US has had proposed certain region like Donbass, which Ukraine needs to surrender to Russia. That Donbass area currently is under Kiev's control, which they have taken over from Russia, but. These are the things, but of course, like Zelensky has pointed out, the territorial issues are the most difficult right now. They are not willing to surrender any of the land, which of course is not acceptable as a part of the deal as far as Russia is concerned, Abhishek.
But Amit, like you said also, I mean, Ukraine has shown openness to the revised 19-point proposal, but Russia hasn't clarified its stance. But how's this gap shaping expectations around the talks?
Well, Abhishek, if you see that Ukraine has been very clear as far as its diplomatic stance is concerned, because even in the past they have been saying that Kyiv has been saying that they are willing to cooperate. Some certain things are acceptable, but at some point in time, definitely it boils down to the fact that words are different from what is actually happening on the ground. Because even Ukraine has not stopped its action against Russia, and time and again we have been seeing sporadic incidents of attacks on Russian region. Of course, Russia has been very categorical. In fact, it has also come out with the fact that it has claimed that it has control over the region of Pokros, which of course Kyiv has denied. So on one hand, Kyiv has been maintaining a very clear diplomatic stance of saying positive things about as far as this peace deal is concerned, but on the ground there have been some point of issues which again puts things back into the same position, and everything gets back to square one. Abhishek?
Also, Amit, given the multiple diplomatic channels active right now, like we discussed also, what's the key factor or factors maybe that will determine whether any of these talks actually gain traction?
Well, Abhishek, if you look at the current peace deal, the initial 28-point plan that was proposed by US, after having discussions with Russia, very clearly it was evident that it doesn't see a big role as far as European Union is concerned or any other country in the Euro, because US had categorically kept these countries out. But as far as Kyiv is concerned, it wants the involvement of the European Union. Even in the last meeting which Zelensky had with President Macron of France, he met and discussed a lot of issues. And in fact, there was a dial-in telephonic conversation with Poland, Italy, UK, and Germany. I mean, Ukraine is trying to bring in all these partners in the whole process. Now, that is again, that is out of the context, and that is out of the syllabus, if I may say so, because in the US plan, these European countries do not figure anywhere. But of course, Kyiv has been maintaining that it wants the involvement of all these European stakeholders, because that is they also have a key role to play as far as this peace deal in solving peace deal in in Ukraine Russian region is concerned. Abhishek.
All right, Amit, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs.